Hi, children. How are you? Hope you're all doing good. Right? So, before going to start our session, let's start with prayer. Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityoma Mridam Gamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Fine, children. Thank you. So now we are going to discuss about the topics we had seen in previous chapter, right? So what is the chapter we discussed about? We discussed about motion and measurement. So what are the topics we see? We saw about evolution of transport motion. That is, according to the observer point of view, an object might be in state of rest or in state of motion, right? Then different types of motions: rectilinear motion, circulatory motion, rotatory motion, periodic motion, oscillatory motion, vibratory motion, and random motion. Then we saw about measurements. So how we can measure? That is, measurement is nothing but measuring some quantities, right? Measuring a quantity or distance. So what are the measurements we used to measure? We can measure mass in kilogram, length in meter, and some liquids as liters and times as seconds, right? So in this measurements there are two types: non-standard and standard measurements. In early times, people uses their body parts to measure their lengths. So that type of measurement is called non-standard measurements. Okay, and standard measures include fixed number of quantities to measure. This was suggested in 1960 in a conference which is held on the basis of weights and measurements, right? So people all over the world uses this quantities, this measurements as standard measurements, right? So some of the, it has 7 fundamental standard measurements available in SI units, right? So some of the basic units are mass, length, and time. Mass can be represented in kilogram, length can be represented in meter, and time can be represented in seconds. So these three are the basic SI units. From these three basic units only, the remaining units can be derived. Fine, children. So these are about the rules of writing the SI units, right? So the units must have both numerical part and the unit part. We should leave space between these two parts, and we should not keep full stop, and we should not represent it in plural form. Then we can saw about how to convert a lower order measurement to a higher order measurement. Then some measuring techniques for measuring a straight line or measuring a curved line. For straight line, we will measure using a scale or ruler. For measuring a curved line, we will measure using a thread. So these are the topics we discussed in this chapter, right? So for your questions in the workbook, most of the questions we have done. For the remaining questions, I have posted the answer for those questions in the Google Classroom app. Just make a note of it and upload your work. This is your homework today, and I'm going to assign an iTeach activity for you, for which you have to do the activity and upload your work in Google Classroom app. You have to teach your parents about the different types of motions available, and you have to record your parents' response and upload your Google Classroom app. I created a link for that. You just attach in that link. Okay, fine, children. For the next session, we can start with new topic. Okay, so till then, stay connected, stay safe, bye.